to the one and only Atlanta Falcons. Guys, let's dive into the 2025 Atlanta Falcons season outlook. And spoiler alert, guys, this team is a work in progress. Let me speak it clearly for the people in the back. The Atlanta Falcons are a work in progress. We are going to see spurts of greatness. We're going to see really, really good, and then we're going to see really, really bad. If they can narrow those good and bad moments and make them less dramatic, less roller coastery, we could potentially see a winning team. But just 3 months ago, guys, I had this team pegged as a 4-win team. And since then, there's been more clarity on the quarterback front, which has emerged. Michael Penix Jr. is the starter. No more battle that we expected, but it's still a mixed bag. And then, guys, weeks 1 through 5, I have them as a rocky start with just a little bit of glimmer of hope, right? But week 1, they open up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Opening the season at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and guys, and the Falcons get a reality check quick. No surprise here. The offense struggles to find its rhythm. The defense cannot slow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down. Michael Penix Jr. looks like a rookie trying to prove himself, even though he's a second-year player. Truth of the matter is, guys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a really, really good team, and they're going to expose bad teams like the Atlanta Falcons over and over and over again. And then week number 2, going on the road against a tough Vikings team. The Falcons defense just looks overwhelmed in this game. The offense is going to be one-dimensional. Michael Penix Jr. show flashes, but the same second-year rookie mistakes, right? The quarterback battle is over, and the growing pains still remain. Now we're scratching our heads. Why is not Kirk Cousins in there? Why are we still seeing Michael Penix Jr. making the same mistakes week after week after week? I understand that Michael Penix Jr. had a huge celebrating last 3 games of the 24 NFL season, but watch those games, he's not very good. But then week number 3 at Carolina, taking on the Carolina Panthers. The first win of the season and a confidence builder for Michael Penix Jr. and the rest of the Atlanta Falcons. Penix managed the games well, and the defense finally steps up. It's a gritty win that showed the Falcons have potential if they can clean up some of the lackluster mistakes. But that momentum does not carry over into week 4 because when they play the Washington Commanders at home, they lose this one. The Falcons lose a close one to a team that with a solid defense and an experienced quarterback, this offense sputtered yet again. Penix Jr. shows inconsistency. The defense kept them in them just long enough, but just could not get it done. It is not enough. And then week number 5, bye week. A needed breather. Time to regroup and fix the issues and expose them for the first 4 games. Maybe, just maybe, we might see Kirk Cousins. Maybe. Fingers crossed. But I do not think Michael Penix Jr. is going to be the quarterback of the future for the Atlanta Falcons for very, very long. But for the first through 5 weeks, guys, they're 1-3. Penix Jr. is the guy. Let's just be clear. But it's clearly he's still developing. He's clearly that he is still a second-year player. It's clear that he should have been on the bench all last season. But the Falcons defense has moments where it cannot sustain them. The team is fragile early on and looking for identity. But then week 6 through 11, guess what? They're still battling inconsistencies. Because week number 6, they're on Monday Night Football taking on the Buffalo Bills. Who is scheduling these Monday Night Football games? Let's flash back. Carolina and San Francisco, 49ers and the Colts, and now we got the Falcons and the Bills on week 6. Monday Night Football slowing down, baby. But hey, whatever. It's still a tough Monday Night football test. Primetime lights are on, but the Buffalo Bills offense explodes. Atlanta's secondary and cannot keep up. The Falcons offense stalls out yet again against the dominant front 7 of the Buffalo Bills. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be pressured all night long, consistently over and over and over. Michael Penix Jr. meet Joey Bosa. 5 sacks on Monday Night Football, baby. But then week number 7, they're back at home yet again, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. But this is a huge statement win. The Falcons show that they can compete with the big boys at home, as in the San Francisco 49ers. Michael Penix Jr. has managed the game. The defense makes big key stops, and the offense finally found a little bit of rhythm. This win just bumped up their ceiling just a little bit because that win carries on into week number 8 when they played the Miami Dolphins. And that is back-to-back wins, baby. Guys, the Miami offense, it should be elite, but the Falcons defense makes critical plays to slow them down. Michael Penix Jr. showed growth and poise under pressure, giving them the dub. But then, week number 9, everything comes crashing back down. When they travel to New England to take on the Patriots. A classic Patriots defense struggle for Atlanta. The Falcons' offense failed to sustain drives. Penix's second-year mistakes cost him late in the game, and the Patriots get the dub. And then week number 10, they travel across the pond to play the Colts in Germany. The travel and the atmosphere seems to get at Atlanta. The offense looks flat, and the defense cannot contain the Colts' balanced attack. Penix Jr. has flashes yet again, but overall a forgettable day. Normally, when you travel over the season and come back home, you get a bye week. Not for Atlanta. They're back at home taking on the Carolina Panthers. They're at home taking on the familiar foe, meaning the divisional foe, the Carolina Panthers. The Falcons crawl out a win in this one. They claw it out. Somehow they travel across the pond. They drop the big L. They fly back, and they get the dub. Penix Jr. shows improvement in decision-making, and the defense forces key turnovers, beating the Carolina Panthers. So, guys, for the first 11 weeks, I set them at 4-6. The Falcons are fighting hard. They're still inconsistent. Penix is growing into his role, trying to figure out himself out, but the team needs to tighten up on both sides of the ball and push towards a winning record. And guess what? It doesn't happen because the midseason lull is in full effect. Because week number 12, they traveled to New Orleans to take on a divisional road trip, the Saints. The Saints defense gives the Atlanta Falcons fits all game long, and the Falcons offense stalled yet again. Common theme of my year. Penix Jr. cannot make the big plays to pull out the upset win. And then week 13, back on the road, take on the New York Football Jets. Guys, the Jets defense has been dominant or can be dominant this season. I think they're going to be dominant versus the Falcons. They're going to first force turnovers, and they're going to control the game. The Falcons' offense lacks spark and creativity in this game, giving them yet another loss. We're sitting at 2 losses in a row. However, week 14, back at home. A bounce-back home game. Matter of fact, it's a bounce-back home win over the Seattle Seahawks. The Falcons' defense steps up and clamps down the Seattle's run game, and Penix Jr. shows improvement pocket presence. This win keeps playoff hopes just barely alive, but hey, it's still there. They're sitting at 5-8. The Falcons are on the outside looking in. They can get hot. They can rattle off 4 wins. They could potentially get into the playoffs. They could potentially win the NFC South. Penix Jr.'s development remains key if he hasn't plateaued yet. And then weeks 15 through 18, they're fighting for the finish. All you need is 4 wins to make the playoffs. If you can get 4 wins, you're sitting at 9-8. You have a pretty good playoff shot in the NFC South. Well, guess what? The team that's going to win the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they travel to Tampa Bay, and guess what? They get the loss on Thursday Night Football. A primetime matchup, but the Falcons fall short yet again. Penix Jr. was under pressure all day long, and the defense struggled to contain the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' weapons, a.k.a. Mike Evans, baby. Playoff hopes, gone. Finito. Finish. Losing season. Not going to happen. But hey, still time to play spoiler a little bit. And that's what they're going to do week 16 when they travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. They get a road win against a team that is arguably going to be a pretty good team. A tough schedule, but a pretty good team. The Falcons shows resilience, and Penix Jr. played one of his best games of the season, getting a huge upset win, say 21-20. But that wins do not carry over into week 17 when they're back at home playing the Rams, the LA Rams. Guys, the Rams defense will overwhelm Atlanta Falcons. Penix is going to be pressured consistently. Yet again, common theme. And the defense just can't find rhythm. Common theme. But then week 18, season finale, they finish with the New Orleans Saints at home, and they win. Not much of playoff relevance, but a morale booster for the offseason. Penix Jr. ended on a high note with a solid leadership game. So, guys, I have the Atlanta Falcons finishing 7-10. The floor for them is still 4 wins. If everything falls apart, they should muster out 4 wins. I nearly doubled that, creeping the ceiling up to 8. I think they're a 4-8 win team in 2025. Penix is the clear starter as of right now, and if he continues to develop, the Falcons could be surprised next year. Guys, the Falcons quarterback battle was settled with Michael Penix Jr. and is holding face so far. Kirk Cousins is likely gone, and that clearly helps. This team's ceiling is rising, but they remain inconsistent. The defense still has holes, and the offense still isn't explosive yet. So, guys, in the comments down below, can the Falcons build on the 7-win season and push into the playoffs contention, or are they still a few pieces away? Guys, subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. at East Coast time, right here on said platform. Alpha Rob says 7 wins because the Saints and the Panthers are that bad. That is facts. That is facts. They're not very good. Old Man Rivers in the chat.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
What's up, Old Man River? What's good, brother? What's good? What's good? What's good? Sadie says the Falcons will be 7-10. 7-10. That is Sadie. It's like we're reading each other's minds, girl. We're reading each other's minds. Casey Morgan's a pigskin pundit.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
So the Falcons are going to have a top 5 pick coming this NFL draft. Casey, brother, you may not be wrong, man. The NFC South could have arguably 4 of the top 5 picks. Let's just be honest about it. Sorry, 3 of the top 5, I guess. Right? The NFC South is not very good, and the Falcons are part of the NFC South. What the Falcons need to do right now is they need to understand that they are in rebuild mode. They're not in retool mode. They are not in, hey, we just got a few pieces. No, they're in rebuild mode. The Falcons are a dumpster fire. Raheem Morris, right? Not a terrible coach. And maybe could be very, very good in the future. But the Falcons need to trade away Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts needs to be on the trade block right now. Get the man somewhere. Get him to Kansas City. Give him to Houston, Texas. Give him to somebody that would love to overpay for a tight end that has underperformed. Guys, let's just be flat honest. Kyle Pitts has underperformed as a top 10 pick. I believe he was 7th overall. Correct me if I'm wrong down there in the chat. But he has definitely underperformed year after year after year. He's had spurts of greatness. He has had spurts here, a little spurts there, but let's just be flat honest. The man has yet consistently put back-to-back games 10, 15 catches. It just doesn't happen. It's tough. And it's sad but true. He needs to go find another team. Old Man River says the Falcons will go 6-11. Probably. I think we all are projecting them as a losing team. And since we're all projecting them as a losing team, they're going to win the freaking division. That is just the way that's just the way the cookie crumbles at the end of the day, right? It is what it is. But guys,